Hello students, it's teacher Nick here. So I thought I should just create this video for you guys so that can make it easy for you to do formative 13, also known as formative 3 for quarter 3. This video, guys, is very important. Please watch it carefully because the performance task is going to be similar to this formative 13. So please pay attention and do exactly as I do here. And what I want you to do, when you do the first problem, watch the video, see how I did the first problem, then pause the video, then do it yourself before you move to number 2. Don't watch the entire video all the way to the end. Watch number 1, go and do number 1. Watch number 2, go do number 2. Watch number 3, go do number 3. Watch number 4, go do number 4. With this video, you should be able to produce an amazing piece of work. If you watch this video, I guarantee you will get an 8 if you follow all my instructions that I'll be giving you on this video. Okay, let's begin. So first up, here's a scenario. So there is a small bakery shop in your neighborhood and they want to introduce pancakes to their breakfast menu. They plan to make 50 pancakes daily on Sunday to Thursday. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, each day they make 50 pancakes. And then on Friday, they're going to make 30 pancakes. And then on Saturday, they are going to make 100 pancakes. But the success of this new addition on the menu will depend on better shopping. So if you can shop right, then you can save a lot of money. So that's what we're going to be trying to do in this formative 13. We're going to try and make some decisions when it comes to shopping. All right, so alongside, you will see the picture of the pancakes on the right, and then on the left-hand side, you will see the ingredients that is needed to make 5 pancakes. So this recipe that you see on the left is only for 5 pancakes. All right. So what do you need? You need 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and I've taken the liberty to convert this for you. So 1.5, we're going to say it is equal to 192 grams. And then you need 3.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And we said this will be about 20 grams. And then you need 1 teaspoon. And this will be about, of salt. This would be about 6 grams. Notice that we did not do conversions for 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are no conversions for them. And there's a reason for that. On the next page, you will see. But nonetheless, we also do need, for this recipe, to use 1 tablespoon of white sugar. We also need 1 1/4 of a cup of milk. We need 1 egg, and we need 3 tablespoons of melted butter. Okay, now let's see why these ones were not converted: the sugar, the milk, eggs, and melted butter. I'm going to scroll up. Here is why. They are saying here sugar, milk, eggs, and butter has already been bought. So there's no need to buy it again. So that's why I didn't even bother to even convert these for you, because you're not going to be calculating anything that has to do with these because they are already available. So the only thing that you need to go and shop for is the remaining 3, which are the all-purpose flour, the baking powder, and the salt. And notice that I've already converted everything for you nicely here. But in this formative, we are not going to use these values as yet. But when you start working with your performance task, I will show you where these values come in handy. Okay? So for now, let's have a look. So sugar, milk, eggs, and butter has already been bought. Hence, they now have to shop for the 3 remaining items. And the aim here is to spend as little as possible. Okay, so we want the cheapest items from the cheapest store, right? And then what do? They compare prices from the following 3 shops. If you want to save money, you need to look at more than one store, see the same items from more than one store, and see which store is offering you the best buy. Okay, so what skills are you going to need in order to be able to do this formative? If you remember, there is an activity that we did about where we talk about DVD City, DVD Exchange. If you remember those, Apes DVD, we were calculating the unit rate for each store. That's pretty much the same thing we are going to do here. And if I can just quickly take you back to memory lane, this is the activity that we did. We had Apes DVD, DVD Exchange, DVD City, and they were offering us different deals. Apes DVD, 3 DVDs for $27.99. DVD Exchange, 4 DVDs for $33, and DVD City, 5 DVDs for $47.50. And this is the method we used. We found the rate, and the rate is calculated by taking the cost of the DVDs divided by the number of DVDs. So the first one here is the example for Apes DVD. So the cost of the DVDs is $27.99. There it is. And then how many DVDs? 3. And then we calculated and found the unit rate. It means they charge $9.33 for 1 DVD. And they charge $27.99 for 3 DVDs. The 9.33 was found by saying 27.99 divided by 3. And then this is how we wrote the unit rate. It's $9.33 per DVD. And the unit cost is $9.33. This is the exact same thing we are going to do. Same thing here. We have 3 stores and they are selling the same product, but their prices are not the same. We are trying to see which one is cheaper. So here we have Lulu's, we have Spinneys, we have Carrefour. But unlike here we were only buying DVDs. But here we are buying not just one thing. We're not just buying one thing, just like in that example. Here we need to buy all-purpose flour. We need to buy baking powder. We need to buy salt, which means we're going to do calculations like this 3 times for all-purpose flour, baking powder, and salt. So we need to ensure that we find the unit rate for all-purpose flour at Lulu's, at Spinneys, and at Carrefour. Then compare to see which one is giving us the best buy. That's basically what you're going to be doing in this formative. Now, these are the questions. This is the crux of the formative here. And I've given you a hint that 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. Why did I give you this hint? Let's look at number 1. Which shop offers a better buy per gram? So since they're saying per gram, then this means we need to convert everything and make sure it is in what? It is in grams. Everything must be converted to grams. And then if you look at number 2, which shop offers the better buy per gram on baking powder? So we need to also convert all these to grams. Luckily, for baking powder, everything is already in grams. 450 grams, 100 grams, 225 grams. Everything is already in grams. Number 3, which shop offers a better buy per gram on salt? If you go to salt, we can see this one is in kilograms. So we need to convert this one by using this information here, that 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. So if I have 1 kilogram, how many grams is this? So you're going to have to convert this to grams. And then these 2 are already in grams. It's 600 grams and we have 737 grams. All right. Now, the most important thing here is that I'm not going to use the same amount that you see here. I'm going to change all of these. All of these, I will change them. I'm going to leave the quantities the same. I'm going to change all these prices and use my own prices. And then when you do your formative, these are the prices you're going to use. I'm going to use my own prices as examples. All right. So you convert everything to grams, then you do the calculations. Number 4, when we've calculated 1, 2, 3, I will explain number 4. It's no use trying to explain number 4 now before we even get to it. So I've separated each question from the rest. So we're going to deal with one question at a time. Let's get started. I'm going to move down. So you will notice if you look at the prices here, they're not the same as those prices there. I've changed all the prices because I'm making an example. So please, students, do not submit my work. Do not submit this. Do not calculate using these numbers. Use the numbers that are on the document for the formative, the original numbers. These are the numbers we are going to use: 28, 9, 2.97, 8.25, 2, 4.65, 15.6, 7.1, 9.35. But I will use these as examples. I hope that is clear. Now we're going to get started. So the calculations that you are going to do now are for what? For the all-purpose flour. Oh, sorry. Now I moved that. Need to put a pen on. The calculations we're going to do are only for all-purpose flour. This is the one we are working with. We are not going to do that one. We are not going to do that one. For now, we are focusing on the first one. So which means we're going to be calculating for this store here, and this store here. Forget about the rest. We're not going to be looking at this at all. We're not going to look at these two. We are focusing on the all-purpose flour. All right. So we're going to be calculating for Lulu's first, and then Spinneys, Carrefour. At Lulu's, they are saying 10 kilograms of all-purpose flour costs 26 dirham, 82 cents, 82 fils. Okay? So we need to remember that they said per gram. So if it's per gram, then it means we need to convert this 10 from being kilograms to being grams. And 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. So this means 10 kilograms is equal to 10,000 grams. So that's what we're going to be working with here. Let me just erase this marking here. Okay, so that's what you're going to be working with, 10,000 grams. Now, how do you calculate this? If I have 10,000 grams and I want to find out how much each gram costs, I will have to take the cost of the grams and divide by the number of the grams. All right. If you remember from here, what did you do? We take the cost divided by the number of the items. So here, what is the cost? It is 26 dirham 82 cents. Divided by the number of grams. It's going to be 10,000, not 10 kilograms, because we're working with grams now. So let's come and work here. So here, then we are going to say 26, remember, it's the cost divided by the number of the item. So here, it's a number of grams. We want to know, because when we say per gram, we mean 1 gram. We want to know how much 1 gram costs. So this is 26.82. And then I'm going to divide this by 10,000. And in case you're wondering, why am I dividing? Think about it. What did we do here? We wanted to find out how much 1 DVD cost. We know that 3 DVDs cost this much. So to find out, we take this cost and we divide it by the number of DVDs. Same thing applies here. We want to know how much 1 gram cost. So we're going to take the cost divided by the number of grams, which is 1,000 grams in this case. And if you take your calculator now and say 26.82 divided by 10,000, this will give you 0.002682. I'm saying, please just always round off to 4 decimal places here. I know that when we're working with money, we round off to 2 decimal places, but think about it. If you round off to 2 decimal places, it will mean it costs 1 gram is free, because this is going to be 0.00. So that's what I'm saying. In all your calculations, where I round off to 4 decimal places, also please round off to 4 decimal places. So I'm going to round off to 0.0026. If you like, you can use the entire number. But to make sure that everything is standard, everyone's going to get the same answer, let's round off to 4 decimal places. Now, that means there should be 4 digits after the comma. But now, the 5th digit after the comma, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, but the 5th digit, if it is above 4, you're going to have to take 1 and add it onto the 4th digit. So it's going to take 1 from 8 and add it here. So this is now 0.0027. So that's what you're going to be entering there. So I'm just going to be lazy. I'm going to take this, because that one will not change. And I'm going to paste it there and then put the 7. And then remember, when you write the unit rate, how do we write it? We say per item, just like here. Unit rate is $9.83 per DVD. Remember this? Same thing applies here. So this is going to be 0.0027. In fact, I like writing the currents as well. So AED, so it's 0.0027 per gram. You are done with Lulu. So right now, this calculation belongs here. belongs here. So we are done with Lulu now. We're going to look at Spinneys. We're doing one and the same thing. At Spinneys, they have 2 kilograms instead of 10. So they have 2. So we're going to say 2 multiplied by 1,000, which means this is 2,000 grams. So we're going to be dividing by 2,000. The same thing we did on the first one, we're going to be doing all over again. So here we're going to have 6.85 divided by 2,000. And what does this give me? Bring my calculator up. So I'm going to go 6.85. I said 86 here. Let's fix that quickly. It's 6.85. Okay. So 6.85 divided by 2,000. This gives me 0.0034. See, here are my 4 digits. I cannot add 1 to the 4 here because that's the 5th number. See, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. If I round it to 4 decimal places, we look at the 5th number. If it is below 5, we don't add 1. But if it is 5 and above, we add 1. So here, we don't add 1. So that means we're going to take that. Okay? So that is our cost. And then if you write this now as a unit rate, it's going to be 0.0034 per gram. You're done. You go and do the same thing. Now, let me ask you, we have 5 kilograms. 5 kilograms is how much in grams? Remember, 1 kilogram is 1,000. Yes, you are right. It is 5,000. So we're going to be using 5,000 here. Notice, we are only working with this part. We are not concerned at all about the other 2. This is the only part that we are focusing on. All right? So we are not concerned at all about the other 2. We are looking at all-purpose flour. So now we're going to come here and say 14.23 divided by 5,000. Then we calculate that. So that's going to be 14.23 divided by 5,000 rand, which gives us 0.0028. Again, the 5th, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th number after the comma is not bigger than 4 or is not 5 and above, so we don't add 1. So that means we're going to take this as it is. We take that and we put it here. Then we write the unit rate the normal way. So this means the unit rate here is 0.0028 per gram. Then, before you move on, remember the question was, which shop offers a better buy per gram? So now we need to compare. What are we comparing? We are comparing now the unit rate. So here we have 0.27, 0.0027, and here we have 0.0034, and here we have 0.0028. It's clear Lulu is the cheapest. Then what do you do about that information? Go and write the conclusion. So you're going to come here and write the conclusion and say Lulu has a better buy on all-purpose flour. Then we are done with the all-purpose flour. We are done with the all-purpose flour. So as far as we are concerned, we have calculated everything that we needed to calculate. So this one I'm going to strike in red. So this one is done. We are done with that one. Now we need to look at the 2. So I'm going to scroll up. Now that we're done with that, this is what we're going to look at. We're going to look at now. We are looking at baking powder. So again, I'm going to use my ruler to remind you that we are done with all-purpose flour. We've calculated this above. So we're no longer calculating that. Now we are calculating baking powder. So we need to see which one is offering the cheapest item is the cheapest baking powder of the 3 stores. All right, let's get to it. We're going to be doing one and the same thing. Now, notice one thing here. All the values are already in grams, so you don't have to convert anything here into grams. So all the values are already in grams, so you're just going to go straight to calculating. So let's get to it. So the very same thing that you've been doing before is what you're going to be doing here now again. So in other words, you're going to go there. The only difference now is that we are not converting anything. So we're calculating for Lulu. How much is the baking powder at Lulu? 7 dirham, and you get 450 grams. So this is going to be 7 divided by 450. Okay, and then we call our friend and say, hey, we got a 7 that we want to divide by 450. And the calculator said, hey, that is equal to 0.015555. So it's 0.15 reoccurring. But remember, we're only rounding off to 4 decimal places. And then you check the 5th number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th number happens to be above 4. So which means we're going to take 1 and add it to this 5. So this 5 will become a 6 now. So I'm just going to take this, and then this 5 is going to become a 6. So that means here I'm going to say, and then this is a 6. Okay, and then the unit rate now, that means this one is a gram. So that's how much you pay for 1 gram of baking powder at Lulu's. How much do we pay for 1 gram of baking powder at Spinneys? Let's find out. So you're going to do the very same thing that we did before. So here you are going to go now and say 2.50. You don't have to put a 0, by the way, divided by 100. This should give you 0.025. So let's take our calculator here to confirm everything, to ensure that you're accurate. So it's going to be 2.5. You can put a 0 if you want, but it really doesn't matter. Divided by 100. This gives us 0.025. So we can say 0.0250 to ensure that we have 4 digits. Like I said, the 0 really doesn't make any difference there. So that means we have this over here. And if now we have to write this as the unit rate, it's going to be AD per gram. This is how much 1 gram of baking powder costs at Spinneys. All right. And then we're going to go and do the very same thing over here. So now we're looking at baking powder at Spinneys. It's Carrefour. It is 5 dirham, 93 fills, and you get 225 for that amount. So let's go and find out. So we're going to go 5.93 divided by 225. Okay, let's call our friend. Hey, standard friend, how much is this? So it's going to be 5.93 divided by 225, which gives you 0.0263, then 5 recurring. Remember, we only needed the 4 digits, and then check the 5th one. It is above 4, so we take 1 and put it here. So instead of 3, this will be 4. Okay, so let me copy that and come and put it here. And then we know now it's no longer a 3, it's going to be a 4. You see, I put a 4 there. And then unit rate, AD, is going to be that per gram. Same thing like we did before. We're going to compare now. We're going to do the comparison now. We can see that 1 gram of baking powder at Lulu is 0.0156. At Spinneys is 0.050, 0.0250, and then at Carrefour it is 0.026. Which number is bigger than, is smaller than all these numbers? The cheapest one would be the smallest one. So the smallest one, again, it's Lulu's. It's not always going to be the first one that is the cheapest, okay? So it just happened here that the first one is always being the cheapest, but it's not always going to be the case. So don't copy that and always say the first one is the cheapest. This example will be different from other examples. But for your formative, the same thing is going to happen because the only thing I changed was the prices. All right? So now we can write the conclusion and say, this is what I want. and say Lulu again has a better buy on baking powder. In fact, I should have changed the values here so that Lulu is not always the cheapest one. But like I'm saying, it's not always going to be the case. So Lulu is the cheapest one. We can see that. Let's proceed. Now we have calculated 2. So we are also done now with baking powder. This is done. You don't have to strike it off in the formative. I'm just showing you that now we only left with salt to calculate, but you don't have to draw these red lines I'm writing here. This is only for your own good. But for me, no lines there, please. Okay. Thank you very much for understanding. So now we do the last one, which is, I'm going to strike these through again. So we are done with all-purpose flour. We are done with baking powder. Now we are calculating salt. Okay. We are doing one and the same thing. The only thing that you need to convert here with salt, it's 1 kilogram. So 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. So this is the same as 1,000 grams. So we are going to come here. Let me print this. We're going to come here. Let me delete that. So calculating the cost again is going to be 2.11 divided by 1,000. Call our friend and say, hey, we have a 2.11 we would like to divide by 1,000. And our friend says that is 0.0211. So I said we are rounding off to 4 decimal places. There's no need for me to check the 1. So I'm going to take only that. As you can see, I'm rounding off the same way every time. 4 digits after the comma. There is no way where I have more than 4 digits. And then unit rate, AUD. For sure, right now, you get the picture. You can see how this thing is done. All right? And this is how your performing task is going to look, basically. All right? I wish we were doing this live so that we can, So let's do this one. Again, why did I convert to the 1 kilogram? It's because we are told here that we need to calculate, this is per gram. It's because they said here per gram. So that's why I changed everything to grams. So at Lulu, they have 1 kilogram, so I changed it to gram, which is 1,000. But Spinneys and Carrefour, no conversion required there. Okay? So now let's calculate for Spinneys. Okay, so at Spinneys, how much is the salt? It is 3 dirham, 65 fils for if you want to 600 grams. So let's see, 3.65 divided by 600. And then this will be equal to what? Let's get our friend. You know how our friend likes to help us. So this is going to be 3.65 divided by 600, which gives us 0.0060 and so on. But we want only the 4 digits. But if you look at the 5th digit here, it is above 4, which means you can take 1 and add it to the 0. So this is now going to be 0.0061. Okay. Right. So this now will become didn't copy. So let me copy it again. Copy that. This is what we want. And going to be 1 there. And then if you want to now have to write a unit rate, this will be AUD per gram. We go and do the same thing for Carrefour. I hope you can see that there's a reason why I feel like this task is easy. It's because you do the same thing over and over again. You know? This is what you're going to do for your performance task. If you can do this for me, I guarantee you, you're going to get a really good mark. So to this one, on this one, we're going to have 8.22 divided by 737. Okay, what is that equal to? So that divided by that, what is that equal to? So we have 8.22 divided by 737, which then gives us 0.0111. Now, if you look at this, if we check the 4 digits, we have to check the 5th one. It's bigger than 4, so we have to take 1 and put it there. So this would be now 0.0112. All right. If we were rounding off to 2 decimal places, we were just going to take these 2 and check the 3rd. If they say round off to 3 decimal places, you check 3 digits, check the 4th. If I say 4 decimal places, 4 digit, check the 5th. 6 decimal places, check the 6th, check the 7th. All right. So here we are rounding off to 4 decimal places. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we check the 5th. If the 5th one is above 4, then we take 1 and add it to the 4th. So now this one will be 0.0112. So I'm just going to copy that, come back here, and then put 2 there. All right, and the unit rate, put that on there, per gram. And again, you do the comparison. And like I said, in this example here, it appears that Lulu is always the cheapest, but I don't know. Anyway, it's not always going to be Lulu that's the cheapest, okay? So here we have 0.021. Then here we have 0.006. Oh, I forgot to put the 1 there. So let's fix that quickly. 1, yes. Then we can go back now. So this one is 0.0061, and this one is 0. And then here I forgot to put the 2 again. You see, this is the issue of copy and paste. Here we're supposed to have 2. Okay. Then if you look at this, which one is the smallest? So this one is 006. So it's bigger than this one because this one is 002. And then this one is 0.01. So this one is bigger than all of them. So Carrefour is the most expensive here, followed by Spinneys. But Lulu is the cheapest here again. But like I said, it's not always going to be Lulu that is the cheapest. Okay. So let's go and write our conclusion. Therefore, Lulu again has a better buy on salt. Okay, so you've calculated for the 3 now. You're done. Let's have a look at now number 4. And I'm hoping as you are doing this this activity, you need to do number 1, pause, watch the video, do number 1, then watch a video again for number 2, then do number 2, watch the video for number 3, then do number 3, watch the video for number 4, then do number 4. Okay, so for number 4, I've already just put a structure here of what needs to be done. Let's read the question and see what it wants from us. So they're saying, so these bakery owners, they need 50 kg of flour, they need 3 kg of baking powder, and they need 5 kg of salt. If they buy all products from one store, let's say they decide to buy from one store, they want to know which store would give them the best value for money. Which one would be a better buy if they buy all items from one store? Okay, we already know the answer because all items were cheaper at Lulu. But like I said, it's not always going to be the case. So now, in order to find out which store would be cheaper if they buy all items from there, we need to find out how much is 50 kg of flour at Lulu. But how are we going to know that? We're going to use now the unit rate. The unit rate we calculated for flour, the unit rate we calculated for baking powder, unit rate we calculated for salt. So let's start with the 50 kilogram flour. Remember, All the calculations that we were doing before, we were using grams to calculate them. That's why now here you see me, I have converted 50 kg to 50,000 grams because I'm using this here. And then 3 kg is the same as 3,000 grams. And 5 kg is the same as 5,000 grams. So it's 50 kg of flour, 3 kg of baking powder, and 5 kg of salt. Which store will give us the best value if we buy all items from them? So if we were to buy from one store, which one would be cheaper? So we need to calculate all these for the stores. So to calculate that, now we're going to use the unit rate that we calculated. At Lulu, what were the unit rate for flour, baking powder, and salt? You're going to need to go back up now. So do you see that if your calculations at the beginning here were wrong, it means your final calculations will also be wrong. Okay, so this is where we started. At Lulu, this was for baking all-purpose flour. The unit rate is 0.0027 for 1 gram. So now that we want 50,000 grams, how much is this going to take us? So we're going to take this number and we're going to multiply the 50,000. Okay, so I'm going to just take these numbers and write them on the piece of paper here so that I don't have to keep scrolling up, or I can put them on a separate document. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to just put them on a separate document. I'm going to screenshot them, put them on a separate document so that we can just switch over with ease. Okay, so the first one, I'm going to just take a snapshot of this. I don't want everything else. This is all I want. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it here. Okay. In fact, let me also take the question itself. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to take, so that you know that this is for baking powder, this is for what, that kind of thing. So I'm going to take everything that's here and I'm going to put it here. So I'm just going to make this so that I can move it around later on. And then let's go and get the unit rate for baking powder. There's this thing that is appearing here. Okay, it's gone now. This is for baking powder. I'll come back here and put this here. And then the last one is for salt. Okay, so I'm going to put this, shift that. You don't have to create a separate document, guys. I'm doing this so that I can switch over with ease to check the prices. Okay, so you don't have to do this. So you see now all my prices in one place. So I just want to switch like this when I calculate. Okay, you don't have to create a separate document here. You don't have to do that. Now, this is where we are. Okay, so we're going to look at Lulu. Now we know the first part is Lulu, the middle part is Spinneys, and the last part is Carrefour. So at Lulu, the unit rate for all-purpose flour is 0.027. All we have to do now is say, okay, 50 kg is the same as 50,000. So that means to find the cost, now we're going to say 50,000. Or let me just say, it's the same basically. I just like starting with money. I love money. So it's 0.0027, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 0.27. And then we're going to multiply this by 50,000. 1, 2, 3. I like separating these so that you can see this is money. This is thousands. Okay? Then when you multiply that, so that means now we have 0. By the way, if a number starts with 0, if it's a decimal number, it starts with 0. On a calculator, you don't have to say 0 point. In other words, I can just come here and say point, 0.0021. 21 or 27. Sometimes I just enter wrong values. It's 27. See? So I need to come back here. 27. Okay. So let's remove that. So it's 0.0027 times 50,123. Boom. So it's 135 dirham. So it means you can get the 50 kg for 135 dirham. Okay. And then we can do the same. Baking powder at Lulu. Come back here. Baking powder at Lulu. It is 0.0156. So 0.0156. And the baking powder is 3 kg. 3 kg is going to be 3,000 grams. So we're going to multiply this. We're going to multiply this by 3,000. And we get our calculator then. Then it's going to be 0.0156 multiplied by 3,000. And that gives us 46 dirham and 80 fils. So why am I not copying this? It's more accurate. So it's going to be, so this one costs 46 dirham and 80 fils. If after the comma you have one number and you are working with money, always add 0. So if I have 2.5, that is $2. This is $2.50 fils. So 2.5, you add 0. So it's going to be like 2.50. Okay. And then we go have a look at salt now. Salt at Lulu. See, I'm doing this one only. I'm not here yet. I'm doing Lulu only at the moment. So at Lulu, salt is 0.021 per gram. So if we have 5 kg, that means it's 5,000 gram. So it's going to be, again, it was 0.021, 0.0021. And then we're going to multiply this by 5,000 because it's 5 kg. 1, 2, 3. And then we get our calculator and then say 0.0021 multiplied by 5,000. This gives us 10.5. You see, if it's 10.5, it means it's 10 dirham and 50 fils. You're going to add a 0 there. All right, remember that. So you're going to come back and over here, and you want to say, I always like to write a currency. Just like when you're calculating distances, you always should write a unit on your final answer. So add a 0 there, and then but that's enough. All right, so that's how much this is. And then once you've done this, you need to now find what is the total. Okay, let me see if I use the correct unit rate everywhere. Yes. Now you need to find the total cost. If I buy everything at Lulu, how much will it cost me? 50 kg is 135. So it's 135 plus 3 kg baking powder, 46 dirham, 80 fils. So plus 46.8. You don't have to put the 0, but if you want, I can put it there. Makes no difference really. And then plus, you see, they removed it. And then we have 10.5 plus 10.5. So for all these items at Lulu, this is how much you pay. You will pay 192 dirham and 30 fils. This is what you pay. Okay. The very same thing that you were doing here is the same thing that you're going to do this side now. So as you can see, we are done with this part. This part is done now. We are doing the middle part now, spinnies. Same thing. Unit rate, now this is all-purpose flour, 0.034. I'm going to go back here. Let me see again, 0.0034. Okay, so we're going to come back here and say, in fact, the only thing that's going to be different now would be these numbers. Everything else might remain the same. This number and that number. That's it. So we have 0.0034. Uh-oh, I was using letter O. So it's 0.0034 times 50 kg is 50,000 grams. Okay, and how much is that? We go now and calculate. It's going to be 0.0034 times 50,000 gives us 170 dirham. So 170 dirham. Let me write this AED 170.00. There are no decimals here, just clean 170. And then we come and do the same thing for baking powder. So the baking powder here. So already we've done this one. That is done. That is done. Now we are doing this one. The baking powder, it is 0.025. So it's basically 0.025, and then I added a 0 there. So this is the one we're doing now. So it's 0.0250. I don't have to add the 0 there, but I just wanted to have 4 digits. So you can add the 0 if you want to have 4 digits. It makes no difference really. Multiplied by 3 kg is the same as 3,000. I'm sure if we're in class now, you'll be singing this. Then we multiply here, so it's going to be 0.0250 multiplied by, you see, they removed the 0 because it's not necessary. Multiplied by 3,000, which is 75 dirham. So this is 75 dirham. Okay, and salt. So now we're doing salt is 0.0061 per gram. So that's what we're doing now. So it is 0.0061 times 5 kg is 5,000. Then we multiply those two. 0.0061 times 5,000. This is what you get. 30.5. So it's 30 dirham and 50 fils. I don't know why I'm no longer copying these numbers, because it makes sure that I'm accurate, because sometimes my mind just, so this would be AED. There we go. Then we put the 0 there because it's money. Money has 2 digits after the comma. Unless we're working with really small values, then we round off to 4 decimal places. But the final answer, 2 decimal places. Okay. And then now the last thing we need to do, find the total of all these things. So the first one is 170 dirham for flour, plus 75 dirham for baking powder, plus 30.50 for salt, which now gives us 275.5. As you can see, Lulu is still the cheapest. Forgot to put AED there. All right, so that's the total, and then you do the last one. Once we do this one, then we make the final conclusion. Okay, so we do the same thing. So now we're gonna go and have a look at the flour. So this is where we are now. We are looking at this one. So flour, the unit rate for flour is 0.0028. So we come back. We say 0.0028 times 50,000. You already know that, times 50,000, because this is 5 kg in grams. Okay, and then what is this equal to? And then we're going to come back. I don't want to use this one because sometimes these numbers are written, you just write them in scientific notation. But since we're doing multiplication, it should also be fine. So this is 0.0028 times 50, 1, 2, 3, 50 big ones. This gives us 140. So this means you're going to pay 140 dirham for flour, and for baking powder, we're going to have to come here and check. Now we're doing the baking powder at Carrefour, 0.0264. So 0. I'm using O, 0.0264. multiplied by 3 kg in grams is 3,000. And then what is this equal to? So we have 0.0264 multiplied by 3,000, which gives us 79.2. So it's 79 dirham and 20 fields. So that's another thing now I can copy. So it's 79 on, that's why I like that one, on 2, and then you put the 0 there. Okay, last one. We are almost done, guys. Almost there. The last one that we're going to do is this one. So the unit rate for this one is 0.0112. 0.0112. So it's 0.0112 and multiplied by, this one is 5 kg. 5 kg in grams is 5,000. Yes, you are right. All right. Then we multiply the 2. So in which case this would be 0.0112 multiplied by 5,000, which gives us 56 dirham. So 56, 0, and I can see here that I didn't put the currency, AED. All right, and then the final thing is to add everything all up together. So 140 for flour plus 79.2 for baking powder, and 56 plus 56 for salt, which gives me 275.2. So this is 275 and 20 fields. Then the last thing that you're going to do now, we wanted to know if we buy everything in at one store, which store will be cheaper. So it's clear which one is cheaper. Here we're getting 275, and here is also 275.50, small difference of 30 fields, and then this one is 192. So Lulu will be the best store to buy everything from, because we only want to spend 192 dirham and 50 fields. So I'm gonna write, sorry, I wanted to get that. So our conclusion here is to say Lulu will, or let me just say, if we buy all items from one store, Lulu has a better buy. By comparing the total prices, we can see that Lulu does have a better buy. And then this, my friends, is the end of your formative. All right. So you need to do pretty much the exact same thing on your formative as well. And you also need to do the exact same thing on the performance task that I am going to give to you. If there's anything that is confusing in this video in class, please approach me, please, or send me a message or whatever. Just communicate with me so that I can explain what it is that you need to do. But I think I've explained everything that you need to know about this formative. And all I can say is all the best of luck. I know you can do this. Thank you so much. I hope you did enjoy the video.